What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here, coach of your Montreal Milotic, your BBR Season 2 champion, Montreal Milotic. And first of all, I still can't believe it. It's been over a week since I've won the title. It's been almost a week since the video's actually gone up. And first of all, I just want to say thank you guys so much. The support on that video was absolutely amazing. So thank you guys. I really do appreciate all of the love on that. Just everyone coming out to show their support and congratulate me for winning my first title in the Wi-Fi League. It means a lot, so thank you guys. I'm going to kind of not script this at all. There's not going to be any scripting for it. I'm just going to go over the season a bit. Hopefully I can keep it within 10 to 12-ish minutes. We'll see. But if you guys want to tab out, you can. All that's going to be on the screen is the individual mons, their kills, their deaths, and the games they came to. And that's it. So if you guys want to tab out, then like here's an example. Like the next mon is going to be, if I can hide it, there we go, Cinderella. Yeah, so it's going to be like that for everything. But yeah, crazy season, right? We started the season out 2-4, and then we got new graphics, and we proceeded to lose one game the rest of the way. Insane. It's honestly crazy that this is the way the season went. I felt so low during the season because during that stretch at the beginning I was getting hacked a lot, and it really felt shitty that basically every time I went into a game it felt like there was gonna be some form of external force that was gonna affect the game, and that really sucked. I really wanted to just be me versus my opponent and have that play out. And obviously if you guys saw the finals, there was a couple of lucky breaks that we got there, but it felt like it was every game, and then it kind of disappeared for a bit. And then it came back, and then throughout the playoffs we were lucky. I didn't feel like when we played against CBAD or against Mid there was any hacks at all. It was a very just well-balanced game, just two players playing their hardest. And then same thing with D-Ray. Issue there was he definitely did get the little short straw when it comes to hacks in that game. Roserate, poison pointing for games, crits. So yeah, but let's just go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to talk about my thoughts about each of these Pokemon, talk about how they performed throughout the season for us, and if I would draft them again or not. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Our first Mon, guys, Shifu, the MVP of the league, 24 kills, 10 deaths in 16 games. It came to every single one of our games this season. 16 games seems like too high. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's wrong. That's definitely wrong. We had 3 playoffs games, and we had, I think, 12 regular season games. So definitely wrong there. Regardless, we crushed it with this Pokemon. It was incredible. I was really hoping to get Melmetal at the beginning of the season, but then Shifu Rapid Strike fell to me, and I said, you know what, we'll just grab it. I'll have both Shifus. It'll be good for thumbnails and everything, and it ended up being insane. This Pokemon with Surging Strikes just hits so freaking hard. 97 base speed, fighting type moves, good coverage options, U-turn. It's an amazing pivot. It forces so much prep on your opponent's part because a lot of the time they really wanted to run Rocky Helmets to counteract what this Pokemon would do. And if they were running a Pokemon that got Water Absorb or something along those lines, then I had U-turn, and I had a couple different really good answers to water types with those abilities in something like my Roserate, my Vikavolt, and my Percygon Z. So I felt this was very strong. It fit into my playstyle perfectly. It's offensive as hell. It is bulky as well, and it has decent speed, so it was like the perfect mod for me. Ideally, I can draft it again. I would like to. I still think Urshifu Single Strike is better, but Rapid Strike definitely proved its worth, getting us the MVP and the championship this season. 100% was the best mod on our team. Really, we don't win without Urshifu Rapid Strike. It just does not happen. It was so good. Forcing all that prep, forcing all those plays that we made really was the reason, the driving force behind our victory this season. Our next mon, though, is going to be our Cinderace that we're talking about. Cinderace was awesome. I had a ton of fun using Cinderace. Obviously, its kill to death ratio is not the greatest. 9 kills, 7 deaths in 14 games played. It came to all but one game. Crazy. The only game it didn't come to was our final regular season game, I believe it was. And that game, honestly, it could have come, but it was probably better for me not to bring it, and it ended up turning out to be the right call. We ended up winning that game, so that's nice. But this Pokemon was fantastic for me because of 2 reasons. One, it allowed me to really wear down those bulky grasses that really plagued Urshifu Rapid Strike. I found those to be an absolutely huge problem that Urshifu Rapid Strike would deal with, and Cinderace just said no to all of them. Tangrowth, no. What else is there? I'm trying to think of other bulky grass types that there were. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but Tangrowth was the clear one in my mind from my battles with Chase. but it's just such a great Pokemon that can wall break, that can be a pivot, because honestly, you bring this thing in on a grass type, on an ice type, on like anything really that doesn't resist fire type attacks. You click U-turn basically because it's very free, you're going to outspeed it, and then you can get into the Urshifu. It was super valuable. Providing court change as well was really useful. Obviously I think I clicked it only once or twice, but every time I did, it felt like it was an important move at the time. Taunt Super Fang was a huge set to run. I felt Super Fang was very underrated on this, and it definitely was able to wear down things to the point where the Urshifu Rapid Strike could just clean up. Because you look at it, if I managed to taunt, not to taunt, but to Super Fang something like the Quillfish, then my opponent will not be able to check the Urshifu as well. And in hindsight, it probably would have been a really good play to do that. So yeah, I just felt like Cinderace was just a really good support Pokemon for me, even though I drafted it mostly to be a breaker. Its role as a support Pokemon, even being in Blaze form, was going to be just completely unmatched. It was fantastic. It was really a superstar in its role. I was really happy with Cinderace and how it performed, and I would definitely draft it again. Next mon, Roserate. Roserate. How I love and how I hate you. I drafted Roserate in the GDL, in the BBR, and in the IBL. 3 of these are going on at the same time. IBL this time is still going on right now. Tomorrow you guys should be seeing our week 11 battle, which I have not played yet. I'm behind on that. But this Pokemon was underperforming for me throughout the entire season. It felt like it was just coming in to die, basically coming in to take a hit and just die. It's unfortunate because it's a really good Pokemon. I just never felt like I could use it offensively the way I wanted it to, and that's a problem. Do I want to draft this Pokemon again? Yes. In theory, I love Roserate. I just don't perform well with it enough, and that's a problem. I like it. I just don't play that well with it. So I'm hoping I can redeem myself with it a bit more again, but I don't know if we'll be able to. Again, shout out to Tone for the set that you guys saw in the finals. The Poison Point Rocky Helmet Endurance set was fucking awesome. So shout out to him for that. 8 games came to out of 15 possible ones, so about half, and died basically every single one of them. It shows 6 kills there, but it definitely deserved more than that because of the way that it played. It was able to poison point things, poison things, paralyze things, whatever the case may be, bring them to just about death, and then have something else finish it off. So very valuable. Best week it had, I think, was the week against Patty, when we managed to KO the Slowbro, I think it was, and do a ton of damage to the Clefable. So yeah, very excited to get a chance to use Roserate again in the future, but overall right now I think it was probably one of the more disappointing mons in terms of my skill level with it. But that's again just because of me, not because it's a bad Pokemon at all. The next mon, and this is going to last a bit longer than I expected it to, but whatever. Next mon is our Mamoswine. Mamoswine, 13 kills in 12 games with 8 deaths. This thing was a huge threat for my opponents to deal with. Like, I kept saying it, but we had 3 amazing wall breakers. Urshifu Rapid Strike, 130 base attack. Cinderace, 116 base attack with 119 speed, and a move that is super powerful in Pyro Ball that is 120 base power. Stab as well. Insane. And then another Pokemon, Mamoswine, with again 130 base attack. Incredible. We just took lives of these Pokemon. Mamoswine was able to come in, and I think the most underrated part about Mamoswine specifically, was that it got knockoff. My first knockoff user, and actually I think this was one of my only 2 or 3 knockoff users now with Imoga at the back, but it just providing me knockoff, allowing me to get rid of helmets, was very useful. I said in my week 1 game against the Skarmory team, we knock off the Rocky Helmet on Skarmory, and then Urshifu can come in and just claim live and click Surging Strikes over and over, and that's kind of what it did that game. Even though we did end up losing it, I definitely felt that Mamoswine performed well that time around. It was fantastic for me as a lead. As a lead with a not a choice card, but a Focus Sash was amazing, and I'm hoping that I can draft Mamoswine again. I'd used it before in the past and with not real much success, but that was like I was only running Choice Scarf. This time I was able to run a lot of different sets. I was able to run the Weakness Policy set in the semifinals. Unfortunately, we didn't pop Weakness Policy, but the set was absolutely flames, and it did tons of work for our team. I love Mamoswine. It was so much fun to use. My first 4 mons here were a blast, and we're going to talk about the 5th one here, and you know how much I like this Pokemon. Vikavolt has been the star of the generation for me. I absolutely love what Vikavolt has done for us this generation, as I'm going to try and take a sip of water. Vikavolt has been the glue that held this team together, and the glue that's held a lot of my drafts together. It's a pivot, it's slow and bulky, it allows to be offensive as hell as well. Sticky webs are nice to have. It has only a couple weaknesses to, I believe it's just fire and rock. Other than that, it's immune to everything else, or resists a ton of stuff, neutral to everything else, and immune to ground. Very useful. I loved being offensive with it, but most of the time with this team, I didn't have to be. I just had to allow it to come in and deal with the bulky waters and the bulky grasses that would be coming to plague Urshifu and kind of plague Mamoswine a bit if it was locked into grass moves, or locked into ground moves, and then just set up webs, roost, be annoying, and just take hits, get into something else, and then go for a game that way. It was the perfect mon for this team. I think without Vikavolt, we definitely don't win a title. It was that good for us this entire season. Just the threat of webs with her Shifu was huge, and I think it was a really the right decision to go with webs on a team like this specifically. So I'm very happy with Vikavolt. Only 6 kills and 9 deaths, which is crazy, but we know the value that this Pokemon brought. It's not that it was used poorly, it's not that it performed poorly, it's just that the value that it had, what it needed to do was to get up webs, take a hit or two, switch out, get myself to a more favorable position, and that's exactly what Vikavolt was able to do for us. The next mon was Gardevoir. Now, Gardevoir was weird. 7 games only. Very surprising. The games that it came to, it was decent. I mean, the game we played against D-Ray the first time around was nothing at all. There were a couple other weeks I kind of wanted to run like a Trick Room Gardevoir with Teleport, and that didn't work out well. That was week 1. Yeah, I was trying to be too fancy with it, too cute with it, and I think it definitely impacted the way I played with it. It definitely impacted the way I played with it. But yeah, other than that, it really was solid throughout the entire season. It forced a lot of prep on my opponent's parts. The reason, like, again, I wanted to get Xatu in this spot, and I'm kind of happy that I didn't, because having Gardevoir would have been a lot better, that's for sure. And I'm happy with Gardevoir. I felt like it was very strong for what it needs to be. People just were scared of it. In prep, people kept telling me I was worried about your Gardevoir, and what happened? You didn't bring it because you have so many other good options on your team, and that's exactly what happened here. Having Trace was very useful to have throughout the entirety of the season. I think Gardevoir was definitely a mod that I want to try and use again. I don't think I will end up using it again though, because there are other options I like for Psychic types and Fairy types as well in the format, but it was definitely a very scary mod for my opponent's threat to prep for, and it fit the team very, very well, helping me out again, reaching that base 80 speed stat that Swine reaches, but providing me with Witch support, with Moonblast, with Psychic moves, Mystical Fire as well now, just a very, very strong mod to deal with, and I think it definitely earned its stripes on this championship team. Then we have Copperage, probably to me the biggest disappointments of the entire season. I thought I was going to like Copperage a lot more than I did. I really didn't. I felt like it was just... okay. I like my Steel types to be a bit more, I don't want to say offensive, but tanky. And that's why I thought I would like Copperage. Like, I hate Bronzong. Bronzong is one of my least favorite Pokemon to play with because it's just a staldy Pokemon that doesn't really have much in terms of offenses, can't really do anything, can't really phase you out. The best thing it gets is like Explosion to kind of stall break a bit, and that's it. And you don't want to really just be sacrificing a Pokemon just for nothing because you didn't prep well or didn't draft well. Copperage, to me, it had some uses. In the game against Seabad in the quarterfinals, excuse me, we don't win that game without Copperage. It was amazing for us. Getting the prediction rights with the play rough on the Haxorus was huge. Firing off Heat Crash to do a ton of damage to the Tangrowth, amazing. Basically, it provided what I needed it to. It's just, I thought it was going to do more. I thought it was going to be more special for me, and it wasn't. And that's the problem. Will I be drafting it again? You never know. I usually don't get Steel types too early. I usually like to get other Pokemon early. So if it's around, I might take it. I definitely felt like my team was so top heavy that I didn't need to bring it out all the time, and I felt like I probably should have because it was a better Fairy resist than most things. It was a better, poison immunity, which would have been nice, and it resists a lot of types in general. I just didn't feel like I used it that well. It died to every game that it came to. You guys can see 8 games played, 8 deaths. Not great, but at the end of the day, it's a champion now, and it definitely deserves that. Moving on, we have our first of 2 mid-season acquisitions, Percygon Z. Percygon Z, 7 kills, 8 games, 6 deaths. This thing was super valuable to me. I definitely felt like Percygon Z played a huge role on the team, because really forcing a lot of prep on my opponent's part was very huge, forcing them to make sure that they had to run more defense, or more special defense, than defense on their Pokemon so that I don't get a download boost in my special attack. But at the same time, it's a 50-50 because then they're going to lose to a Shifu if they end up being more specially defensive than physically defensive, and if they go the other way, then Percygon Z just wins. So it was very scary. It just forces so much prep, and I was really excited to use the set I ran against Mid, which was the Sunny Day Solar Beam set, which would have been so fun to use. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to. Urshifu just swept that game, and I felt like the Percygon Z was just huge to pair with Urshifu. Any Urshifu, I think Percygon Z is a very welcome addition. They fit so well together, and just forcing all the momentum with that Urshifu does, getting to Percygon Z is such a terrifying threat to deal with. So Percygon Z, again, even though its kills weren't the highest, its deaths were pretty high as well. It came in, broke the teams down that we wanted them to, and went for game, and I was very, very happy with how it went. So Percygon Z, definitely a deserving Hall of Famer. Next up though, we have Volaby. Now Volaby, 0 kills, 3 games, 2 deaths. The one time it actually came to a game and did not die was when it got a key U-turn off against an Excadrill. well, it was going to be against Excadrill, but it ended up being up against Gigalith, and then I got into Shifu and went for game. Volaby was just a casualty of my team being so good. I felt like my team was really, really good up front. These first 8 Pokemon that I have ahead of Volaby were so strong that Volaby just didn't need to come all the time unless I was facing off against a really, really good ground type, and that's what we did. That's when we brought it. So I don't have much to say about it, but it's like I will leave you off with this for Volaby, excuse me. It's so good at being a good low tier Pokemon. If you guys need a typing that Volaby matches up with, then yeah, go for it. I definitely would recommend having another immunity to ground just to be safe, like I have my Vikavolt, but just having this there was so valuable. It was so nice to have. It kind of took away a lot of my opponent's abilities to just run mono Psychic coverage against my team, because you look at it, right now we have 1 resist to Psychic, and that is, or 2 resists rather, the Copperage and the Gardevoir. Copperage doesn't get recovery, and Gardevoir is not the bulkiest thing in the world, so my opponents definitely could have run mono Psychic coverage to really beat me down, especially with Store Power being such a common thing in the game now. So having the Dark type was huge. Volaby was, I don't know. It was good. It was good. Would I draft it again? Maybe. We'll see what happens. Definitely not super high on my list to draft, but it's definitely a solid mod nonetheless, and can fill a lot of different roles that you need it to. And then finally we have Imoga. Now Imoga came to 3 games. Mid-season pickup, or week 2 pickup, along with Percygon Z. The reason why I drafted this thing, or picked it up actually, was because of its speed tier. You guys know that. It made the speed tier perfect between Cinderace and Imoga, making so that nothing that was between there could run a adamant nature or a modest nature and still outspeed my Imoga. It just wasn't going to be possible. So that's why I had it there. It was an annoying Pokemon to deal with on my opponent's side of the field. Just performed as well as you expected it to. 3 games played out of potentially 14. That's like what? That's just under 25%, about 20%. That's what you'd expect from a Pokemon that's just like this, I don't know, weak, I want to say. Yeah, this is, look, I've been talking for almost 20 minutes now. This is crazy to think about. Like, I'm going to go back to our Shifu because it's the mascot of the season. We are the Season 2 BBR champions. I want you guys to know I really appreciate all the support that you guys have given on the channel. We are growing super fast. Crown Tundra has been a really big blessing to the channel. We've grown like 30 subs in the past 4 days, and that's awesome. I still have been posting my Crown Tundra moveset guides. I just posted the one on Spectrier, so make sure to go back and check those videos out. Ideally, Regieleki and Regidrago come out as well. We'll see what happens with that. And the GMAX series is coming back, but BBR is not gone. We will be starting BBR Season 3, our title defense, in ideally a week-ish. We'll see. I think that's when it's going to go up. Maybe we'll see. We're drafting right now. We're currently in round 3, and I'm not going to give you any hints about what's going to be drafted. You're going to have to see. It's going to be a fun time. 20 coaches are in the league, so it's going to be a lot more competition, and at the same time, we have to draft 11 mons, not 10. So going to be very, very interesting to see how we go about it. But guys, that is it for this team recap, this season recap, the season where we finally became Wi-Fi League champions. And it's official. Shifu, Cinderace, Roserate, Swine, Vikavolt, Gardevoir, Copperage, Percygon Z, Volaby, and Imoga are champions, and they have officially joined the Ocean Hall of Fame. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like on the video. If you enjoyed Draft League content, do me a massive favor, subscribe to the channel. You will not find someone who is more passionate about Draft League, who enjoys the format as much as I do on this website. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time.